Hi, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Cathy Neptune, and I'm going to teach you tips, ideas, recipes, tools to make your time in the kitchen fun, fast, and fabulous. So the burger season and the cookout season is finally here. So I thought we'd kick off that season with something special in the way of preparation for burgers. You know, it's just a fact that whenever you plan a barbecue outside, there's going to be weather, one way or another, and things don't always work the way you plan. So this is a great alternative to making a burger on the grill. We're going to do a burger in the oven. And what makes this burger special is it's a big burger. It is a giant burger. It is huge. And I've done this for my children when they were teenagers. And they all love it, especially the guys. They love to have, when you're making a burger, who wouldn't love to have a burger that's this size? So I baked it ahead of time in the oven. And I've used, you know how I feel about my stoneware. And this is a deep dish baker. And the reason I love to use the stoneware is it cooks evenly. You'll never have the center of your burger raw or undercooked. Everything cooks from the edge to the center evenly, and it keeps your foods very moist. And as I've mentioned before, and many of you have done this, you can contact me to order or to find resources for all of these fabulous tools. They really make a difference in your cooking. Now in the burger here, I've made a burger mixture. You can do plain hamburger if you like, but I like to make a meatloaf mixture, sort of like a meatloaf, because it gives you an opportunity to add different flavors and dimensions into your burger. And as always, my email address is on the screen. I'll be happy to send you the recipe with the exact measurements. But basically, I like to use breadcrumbs, an egg. I add steak seasoning or Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of soy sauce, and onions and garlic if you'd like. And it's probably about 2 pounds of hamburger, and I bake it in the oven at about 350 for about 35 minutes or until it's done. And in the last 5 to 10 minutes, I add your choice of cheese on the top of your burger. So it's perfectly done in the oven, and you're not really limited to the size. I've had opportunities where if you don't have a stone, you can use a pizza pan and make it as large as you want. That'd probably be 3 pounds of hamburger, but just be very, very careful that you use a lean hamburger, because most pizza pans are shallow on the edges, and you don't want the grease or the oil from the meats and the juices to flow over into your oven. Very, very important that you pay attention to the moisture content, or put a drip pan underneath for safety reasons. So this is our giant burger. Now, what are we going to use for a bun on here? What I did is I used bread dough, 2 loaves of frozen bread dough, and I used the same stoneware pan, and following the directions, package directions for bread dough, I baked the bread dough in this pan, and this is our giant bun. Now, how fun is that? And I'll tell you, when you bring this to the table, it makes a spectacular presentation. And it's so easy to do. You could do all the prep work the night before, wrap your bread dough very well, pre-cook your hamburger, and just reheat it in the microwave to bring it up to temperature, and you're good to go. Excuse me. So I've taken a serrated knife and sliced the bread. This is so fun. So fun. And sometimes I put sesame seeds on the top. And we're going to assemble this. So our burger is nice and hot. And I'm going to take a mixture. Now, you could do several different toppings on your burger. You could set aside ketchup and mustard and onions and relish. But this is a burger mix that I've been making for years that everybody loves. And I'll send you this recipe too if you'd like. It's just basically a mixture of a little bit of mayonnaise, mustard, relish, Worcestershire sauce, and a little horseradish, which gives it a nice little bite. So we'll spread that all over the bread. And then we're going to do our toppings. And you could do different flavored burgers if you'd like. I've even done turkey burgers. And I've mixed Mexican seasoning into the burger, and it gives it a nice flavor. And then you do salsa on the top and avocados and red onions. So we're gonna slide our burger. It's hot, and this is such a moist burger. And carefully place it over your burger. Oh, it smells wonderful. And then for toppings, let's slice some nice fresh heirloom tomatoes. And you can present this. I think it's dramatic to have it already prepared and layered and stacked up with all these wonderful fillings and toppings. Or you can put little bowls of these toppings on the side and do like a burger bar. So I'm going to layer these all around your burger. You can see already that it's taken a shape. So let's spread that out. There's your tomato. And that's just one tomato. And again, if your family doesn't like red onions, you can leave these out. Sometimes I put pepperoncini on here, you know, the little green peppers in a jar. And remember the tip that I gave you once about making your sweet onions? I'll tell you again. I would take a little bowl like this and fill it with water and maybe a tablespoon or two of sugar, and set your onions in here overnight, and in the morning you'll have sweet onions. So if you don't always have Vidalia onions on hand and you want sweet onions, those are fabulous in burgers and on hot dogs or on a grill or in Mexican food. So remember that tip. It's really convenient, it's fun, it's easy, and it's delicious on your burgers and hot dogs. So now we've got some pickles that we're putting on top, because I hear everybody loves pickles. Most everybody does. And these are dill pickles, but sometimes I like the sweet bread and butter pickles. This is going to be a big burger, I'll tell you. Nobody's going to leave the table hungry. Can you imagine serving this to your teenager and all his friends at the table? They're going to go nuts. He'll be over every night for dinner. And then, last but not least, we've got some beautiful romaine lettuce. And I love using romaine. You know why? Because it's always crispy. It's always fresh. It's always crispy. And I like to put the leafy side towards the edge because it just makes a nice presentation when you bring it to the table. It looks so fresh. So many of you have written in for the recipes and the tools, and it's so nice to hear that you're all enjoying these quick tips and ideas for your family and that you're making them at home, because it makes it fun. And it's great to have your children in the kitchen too, building something like this. So you can see we have it all assembled, and we're going to put the top on. Stand back for this one. There it is. That is your burger. Wow, if it wasn't me, I'd be impressed, because that is a big burger. And you can stack it up on the top. Sometimes I get a stack of cherry tomatoes and peppers and onions, and just get a skewer is what you'll need. It's not a toothpick, but a big skewer. And when we slice this, get yourself a good serrated knife and cut right down the center of this. Now, usually my son used to say, oh great, I don't know what everybody else is eating, but here's mine. And you slice it down the middle, like so. And look at this. How fun is that? That is a big bite of burger. Makes the centerpiece of your table. I would suggest if you have a big crowd or an outing for Memorial Day or the 4th of July, why not make several of the burgers? Get some aluminum disposable pizza pans to serve them on. Do a turkey burger for the healthy crowd. You could do the Mediterranean burger with feta cheese and red onions and tomatoes and baby spinach? How about an Asian burger with all the toppings, bamboo shoots and wonton chips on the side? It's endless. It's absolutely endless. And enjoy the different variations. So let me know what you've come up with for your recipes and concoctions that for your family that they enjoy too. It's fun. So we'll be back in a moment, and we're going to make a fabulous, quick, and fun dessert to go along with this. Hi, we're back with dessert. And just to recap what we did with the burger, we've used a baking stone to bake the burger in the oven on a rainy day. That's a good plan B to have. And we baked the bread in there as well and layered it with your favorite toppings for any burger. Now, on to dessert. With the Memorial Day and the 4th of July coming up, I thought it'd be fun to do something that you can do with your kids in the kitchen. It's a favorite at my house, and I've baked a sheet cake, and I've used my medium stoneware bar pan. And you know how I love my bar pan. Oh, we have a question from Scott in the audience about the stoneware.
Yes, I hear you talk about stoneware a lot and its advantages. Why do you prefer using it over tin pans?
Yeah, in the metal, the traditional glass baking dishes. That's a good question. Why do I prefer using the stoneware? Well, there's a lot of different metals and materials to use. The best example I can say is if you've ever baked a cookie on what they call a cookie sheet. Usually the top of the cookies look great, but the bottoms are brown. Stoneware conducts heat evenly. It's the only media that I know of, or material that transfers the heat. Say if your oven is 400 degrees, your stoneware is 400 degrees. And a good way to test that theory in another way is, have you ever cooked bacon on a cookie sheet in the oven? It usually splatters because the bacon is one temperature, and as the grease hits the different parts of your cookie sheet, it spatters all over your oven. You'll never get this on your stoneware. And I've been using it for years. I have a fabulous resource for it. I put bacon in here. I do frozen French fries in it. I can bake cookies. I can bake a sheet cake. It doesn't burn and scorch like others. It makes the most fabulous end product. Like your chicken will never be dry on the outside. And just for baking and cooking in general, roasting vegetables, my favorite thing to do. I roast mushrooms. I caramelize onions on it, all without turning them over and tending them. You just put it in the oven and they cook. And what a healthy way to do vegetables. In my deep dish baker here that I used, I'll take 2 pints of cherry tomatoes that are always sweet every time of the year. And I put a little olive oil and powdered garlic. You don't want to use fresh garlic on your vegetables because it sears and it gets bitter. So you always use garlic powder. And they roast in here. The cherry tomatoes will roast and caramelize, and they get so sweet. And I mean, when you're making a main dish, how often have you ever thought to make cherry tomatoes as a side dish for your veggies? And I'll tell you, they are amazing. And I do them in here. I do eggplant. So thank you, Scott, for asking me about the stones. They're my favorite. They're always dependable. And I love using them. And they're non-stick. After you use them several times, they become non-stick. So I suggest, if you don't have one, to try them because you're going to love them. So we've done a sheet cake in here. And I didn't use the complete box mix. Now, if you do this at home, you can use a traditional sheet pan or a regular sized cookie sheet, and that has an edge, of course. And you'll use the full box of your cake mix. But I just thought logistically this would be a little more manageable for you to see. But if you use the whole box of cake mix, you can use a regular size cookie sheet. Now on the top here, we have the strawberries and blueberries and stripes of whipped cream or prepared whipped topping for the stripes on here. And sometimes you can change this up if you have Of course, fresh whipped cream. Sometimes I've done sliced bananas for the white in between. But I find that this holds up pretty well when you're transporting the fruit. And the bananas don't always do well. And I've done little daubs of where the stars are going to be over here. And we're going to do blueberries on the top to complete this. And we've sliced the strawberries in half. And I try and use regular sized strawberries that are all consistently the same size. Put this here. Kids love to do this. By the way, our next segment is going to be kids in the kitchen, so you want to make sure and tune in for that because that's going to be fun. And you can fill it in completely if you like and have the kids go crazy with this because the more fruit, the better. Very colorful. And I would certainly do this for the 4th of July. And then down this center here, we're going to finish this. You know, sometimes I've even used instant pudding, or I love the white chocolate instant pudding instead of the whipped topping. It makes it very nice. And it gives it like a cheesecake type of finish. Now, how fun would this be to bring? And it serves a lot of people too. Put that over the top. And there is our red, white, and blue flag dessert. It's not a fussy thing to do. You can even assemble this, bring it to somebody's event, and have all your fruit prepared and just assemble it when you get there. So you don't have to worry about it spilling. And we're going to slice and serve that with our little spatula. And I always serve a little extra blueberry on the side. And this is another reason I love this, because look at the bottom. Can you see the cake on the bottom, how it doesn't turn brown or scorch, and it stays moist all the way through? And look at how this comes out of the pan. And do you remember the little tip that I gave you when you're baking or cooking on any kind of cookware? You usually have a residue that forms when you use the spray stuff on your cookware and bakeware. If you make this mixture and brush it on to all the surfaces that you use, you'll never have that residue build up. And it's a third, a third, and a third. A third cup of flour, a third cup of vegetable oil, and a third cup of like a Crisco shortening. And you whisk that together, and you keep it in your refrigerator. And it lasts so much longer than the spray stuff that you use. It's less expensive, it's more convenient, and those are items that you usually have in your pantry. And you're gonna love the finished results. It's just gonna be a better finished product for you. So I hope you try this wonderful menu for your cookouts coming up, for your family. Any time of the year you can swap out the fruits and do any combination that you like at any time of the year using seasonal fruits. I hope you enjoyed our program tonight. Thank you for watching, and may the fork be with you.